Now, the third part of this process is citation. Actually, the citation part really should have been the first thing that you completed because you have to go find the articles that you will need to actually even begin writing your memo. So I'm going to keep the memo here, but I'm going to split the screen. I'm going to left click and drag to the right. That pins it over here to the right. Now I'm going to open Google, and then I'm going to go to Psychology Today. I'm just going to type it in. Made a mistake here, so let's go again. And then it's in the top of the list, so I'll just click on it. And if it doesn't open exactly on your screen, it's the one here at the top of the page, or you can come down to Psychology Today right here, and it should open up on your screen. Now this is the one that we used in class, and what we did, we clicked on this little search feature here, and then clicked in the box, and we typed in criticism. And of course we got some articles. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the first three that I come up with. So what I need to do so that I can see both things on the screen at the same time, I'm going to pin it to the left of my screen. So I put my mouse at the top of the page, press the left mouse button down, and then I can move the information around the screen. Then I want to take it and pin it to the left of the screen, and then my memo should get really small and to the right. So once I click on it, now I have both pieces of information on the screen. Now it's going to make your screen look a little weird when I explain this to you. So what I end up doing, or may end up doing, is maximizing my Windows screen so it's larger and you can see all of the tabs that I'm using so that you know exactly where you're clicking. So I'm just going to pick the first one that in the list here, 6 ways to take the sting out of when you receive criticism. So I'm going to click on that one. And the whole purpose here is to show you how to cite the information. Now, Psychology Today is a journal, but for this exercise, I am okay with you using a website in this case. But going forward, journals, books, magazines, or other articles are good to use because they are scholarly information. So what we have to do now, because you can't quite see what's here, we need to click on reference on the other side of my screen. Now from the reference tab, we need to go to the citations and bibliography. There are two types of styles that you can use most often in college, APA or MLA. APA is the one that I am accustomed to using, so that's the one that we're going to use. But many of your other instructors here on campus may require you to use MLA. There is some differences in the formatting, but we're not going to cover all of that in this video. We're just going to talk about APA. So the first thing that we need to do is to make sure that we have APA. So when I click the drop down list, of course you'll see all the various styles, but we want APA 6th edition. Once we get that there, we want to insert a citation. Now I'm clicking on the little drop down arrow, and I need to add a new source. So once I click on add a new source, the create source box comes up on the page. With it up on the page, what I can do now is click on the drop down arrow to the right of type of source, and in this case we want to scroll and we want to find website, because I just want to show you this one for simplicity purposes, but going forward I'll probably tell you which source type that I need you to enter. Now in the first box it asks us to type in the author. So the author for me is Susan Heitler, PhD. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click over here now, and I clicked on her name, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select her whole name, and I want to copy it from here, and I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to paste it. And so that's her name, Susan, PhD. Now the name of the website in this case is Psychology Today, although it's a journal. So we can type in the name of the website now as Psychology Today. And then of course, well, the name of the web page and the name of the website in this case, we're going to keep them both the same. So I can select this, copy, and I'm going to paste it down here since that's the same. The next piece of information is the year. So the year of this article, sometimes you have to scroll through the content to find really the year. Now at the bottom of the page it says 1991 to 2017, but if I recall correctly on the previous page it had today's date right here, posted June 9th, 2016. So what I need to do is I need to take 2016 and type it in here, because that was the year that this was published. The month that it was published was the 6th. The date was the 9th. And then I'm halfway there. Finally, we need the URL. So all you do is come back over to this page, click, and then right click and copy, and you just paste the URL right there in that box. Now this is the bare bones information that you need to cite this particular source from the internet. I just want you to click on this show all bibliography fields, and you'll notice something. Everything that's in red with a star beside it, you need that information. Now once I've checked that box, it gave me a lot of other potential boxes that you can put in here and add additional sourcing information. For me and now, that's really unnecessary. I just want you to be able to learn how to cite a source and then add that source into your document. So we're going to click OK. So that one source is done. You might say, well, where is it? Well, if you note here, it's going to place PhD right here on the screen. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it and I'm going to delete it off from right here. We're going to leave it alone just for now. So what I'll do is I'm going to go to the end of the last paragraph. I'm going to press Control key and enter. That creates me a new page. And with that new page, we're going to put our works cited information right here. But I'm going to leave one space for other citing purposes. So now I'm going to click back on the left of my screen to go back to the beginning of Psychology Today. Now I ask you to choose 3 sources. All 3 can come from Psychology Today if you like for this exercise. I'm not really trying to make you go and look up 5 or 6, 7 different places to find information, although some instructors may have you do that. But we're just going to take the second one in the list, 10 tips, and then we're going to go back to our document by clicking once, make sure we're in APA, then we're going to add a new source. Now notice that the previous source that we added is listed in our list, but we need to add a new one. So we click add. We're still going to use website because by default it'll stay where the last type of source was. And so the person's name here is Larissa, so we're going to select her information and copy it. If I can get it to copy. Now if it right click, copy, and come over and we'll paste it in with Control V, or you could right click and say paste if you like. Now the name of the web page is Psychology Today, so there's really nowhere here that I can get it from unless I scroll down here to the bottom, and I can select it from here real quick and copy it. So these are just some techniques that you can use. Name of the web page, Psychology Today, with Control V. Control V again to paste Psychology Today in there. So let's scroll back to on the left, scroll back to the top, and then we can find the date. The year is 2014. Type that in. Month is July, and then of course the date is July 7th. And then lastly we need the URL, so we click, then right click, copy, and then click on the URL on the opposite page, Control and V to paste it, and then we have number 2 done. So how do I know I have 2 completed? I click on Insert Citation. It should be 2 in my list. Now we're going to add one more just so we can have 3. We're going to click to the left again, back up a couple of times. We're going to use 20 signs you are too self-critical. So we click that one. There's the 20 signs. We start over again. There's the author. So we're going to click over here. And sometimes when you see the finger like this, it's going to activate that page once you click on it, but that's okay. Do that, drag and select, copy, come back over to author, paste. Then we need Psychology Today. More than likely it's down here at the bottom of the page, so I can scroll down, drag, copy, paste it in twice because that's the name of the web page and that's the name of the website. Then we'll scroll back to the top of the other page. If you don't see the year, month, or day, just click back, and then it should be at the top of the page. It was posted on February 17th, 2016. So 2016, month is February 02. The date is the 17th. And then we click back on Psychology Today, URL. Click it, and when it turns blue, it's selected. Then right click on it, copy, come back to URL, and then paste, and then click OK. Now we have all the good stuff that we need. Now these 3 notations that it placed right here, I want you to select that, and we're going to delete it off the page, because now I need to show you another part that I'll put in a new video. That's the actual citation. But before we end this one, we're going to add all the works cited on this one page. So now what we do, we come to bibliography, drop down, and then at the bottom of the page you'll see works cited. Click on it, and then you'll see automatically Microsoft Word added all 3 of these sources in order and alphabetically for you, in the order that you need it in. So we're going to actually I can just go ahead and do it all in this one video, so we can just be done. You don't have to listen to my voice anymore. So what we're going to do, there are 3 sources here that we want to use. So let's scroll back up to the top of the document. Let's say that justifiable criticism was created by Larissa. So what we do is we click between the last word and the period, and if I want to put my citation there, I click there, then I go back to insert, drop down, and then I click on Larissa, and voila, it gives me MD. Well, that may not be enough to do it. So what that tells me, I might need to come down to my citations here and fix them and take the PhD off of these, because if I don't, it's going to cite them incorrectly. So that was the only thing that I noticed that was incorrect, but we'll fix that in a second. So then we'll come back and we'll do the same thing for the next citation. I'm going to delete this text so it'll come back up, and at the end of it, click between the last letter and the period, insert. We're going to use Loretta citation there, and then we come to the next one. We're going to insert a new citation, which is the last. Now keep in mind, you can have multiple citations in the same paragraph. So we have one citation right here, but what if 2 of these were given by the same author? So I'm going to click between the word theme and the period, then I'm going to insert another citation there, because both of those, their information came from the 2 different sources, so you can see how it cites the information. So we're going to click on this, the update the bibliography, because we need to do some work to it. So we need to click here, Okay, so we need to fix the bibliography so that the MD and the PhD doesn't show, rather we want their last names here because that's the way it should be. So what we have to do is we're going to manage the sources. So we click on manage, and then we're going to take Larissa, for example, and we need to edit Larissa's information. So we click edit, and where we have PhD, we need to take this part off here, and we're going to put it on the end with a comma, P period H, PH rather. PhD. And we're going to click OK. And then the source exists in the master. It says yes, we want to update it. And so if you look down here in the bottom of the page, now when I close the box, it looks like nothing has changed. But what we have to do, we have to click, and then we need to update the citation. And notice now Larissa Rankin is the way it's supposed to be. Now I did it first name last name, but it actually should be by last name first. But this is just for explanation purposes. So let's go back and let's manage sources again, and let's fix it the way it's supposed to be. So we have Larissa. We're going to edit her information. So let's make it right this time. So we got to do a little work. I selected Larissa. I want to cut it from here. And then what I want to do is put it right there like this with her last name, first name, PhD. We're going to save, say yes, and then we need to fix Loretta. So we're going to click on her, edit, and same thing, her last name, we're going to cut this out, put it first, Control V to paste. Then we're going to take the PhD, cut it, and put it last. And so then that makes it right for alphabetical purposes. We'll click OK, then yes, and then the last person we need to do is Susan. Select her name, edit, come here, we're going to select PhD and take it out of here, cut it, we're going to place it to the end, and we're going to take her first name Susan, we're going to cut it and place it right after her last name, comma, then we're going to Control V to put her first name, then click OK, follow the message, yes we want to do that, and then now we can close. Now when we look in here, you'll notice everywhere that I made a mistake before, Word automatically fixed those places. For example, we have Rankin 2014 here, last name 2016 there, same person here, and Microsoft Word is really a jewel when it comes to word citation. Now if we scroll to our last page, you'll see here that it's in alphabetical order and the way it's supposed to be. If it is not completely updated, that's okay. Click it, update citation, and voila. It's now in alphabetical order the way it should be. So I hope this video really helps you through the whole process. I know it's gotten a little long, but this is what we covered in class so that students who are taking this class from online, you won't be confused as to what I'm expecting from you and what you need to do for this coming assignment. Good luck to you.